All right, welcome back. Another episode of the Heavily Spiced Podcast. I'm your host, Jet, and with me today is my good friend, Montana.
Hey, y'all.
I didn't like that. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Good.
Excited to be on the podcast. Talk about
Yeah. No, this has
some
been a
fun
long time coming.
It
I
really
think
has.
it was last year. You've been, okay, there's a few people that I definitely was like, okay, they got to be on. And now I'm just making my lists and rounds and going through everybody that's on.
Mm-hmm.
But you were literally one of the ones that I was like, okay, first top tier guest. We've been talking about this for over a year now.
I know. Yeah. I remember when you bought all this stuff.
Yeah. No, you were there when I bought all the cameras and stuff. We were talking about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here today to talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. And we kind of got to hurry because, well, it's a little early in the morning now because it's the only time we could do it.
Yeah.
And to break sort of the fourth wall, it's Thursday morning, which means I have to get this video up in less than 24 hours
You got
and
it.
go to work.
You got it.
No, I
You
definitely
can do
have it. I definitely have it. But it's just one of those days where I'm like, oh, shit. It's going to be a long fucking day.
Yeah.
But I woke up early. I got coffee in me, and we got chocolate milk here. So if you see us drinking Nesquik, it's because it's Montana's favorite. And mine, honestly.
It is super good.
So a quick chug before we begin.
All right.
Let's start off with WandaVision.
Oh, yeah.
What did you okay, I just wanted to go in and just say I felt like I was not expecting anything out of this show at all. In the sense that I didn't have high hopes for it. I felt as if this show was just going to be
Yeah.
to me. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, I kind of because I feel like this is the first really TV show that's coming out. Because this is what all these TV shows are phase 4
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
So this was the first one, and I think right off the bat, one of the things that made me interested in it was how much the budget was, and how much their budget was for each episode.
Did you know it?
Mm,
It was
it was something crazy. It was like 80 million an episode,
oh my god.
or something like that. It was like a 2-digit million, whatever, an episode.
Yeah.
But and the whole budget for the whole season was 300 whatever something million, which is crazy because it's all filmed
Yeah.
on the same set. I don't know.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So
It's I think they put if you were to compare a movie to a TV show, I guess, and how much money was put into it, it's they Marvel's put the most money into the show than the other movies. Cuz it's
is more expensive, you would say?
yeah.
Wow. It makes sense though because I mean the whole show is pretty high budget.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be more or less they want to get on par with the actual movies. And I think since this is the first show that premiered,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was. I mean, there's times where I was like, okay, this is definitely a TV show. But there's times where I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is actually good. It actually looks and feels like the MCU.
Yeah.
So I think as far as getting their budget right and stuff, they knocked it out of the park with that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was first starting, I was like, dude, I don't care about Vision. Vision to me sucks. As a hero, I don't know.
Mhm.
He just doesn't seem he's not human. I mean, honestly. So there's
Yeah.
nothing humane about him, and I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And I feel
But Scarlet Witch is the bomb.
mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say?
It was that's kind of one of the interesting kind of themes, I guess, that goes on throughout the whole show, especially at the end is Vision. Obviously, the Vision that's in the show is not the real Vision. It's this Vision that Wanda created or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's kind of struggling with his own humanity. He knows he's not human.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's also okay, well, I'm not even real.
Yeah.
But he's still
it doesn't some of this that's okay. Some of this is so okay, I watched The Matrix Reloaded. You ever seen those movies?
Mhm.
Okay. I was watching that movie and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. And it's kind of similar to WandaVision where it's just wait, what? What the fuck? So she creates the Scarlet Witch creates her own sort of universe, her own sort of she takes this town and then makes them all believe they're a part of some sitcom. And every episode is different era of sitcoms. So it's fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like the 50s was the first one, and the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, all the way up to the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of invigorating, but you don't really know what's going on the whole time. And then even when they explain it, it just is like, I don't even know what her powers are anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and even at the end of it, she's like, she doesn't even understand the full potential of her powers.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
just
not
like
until what's her face, Agnes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, you're the Scarlet Witch, like you've been written about, like you've been prophesized.
Yeah, to take down what's it called? The Doctor Strange. What is he called? Fuck. I remembered it last night. I was like, oh man, I gotta
What do you
remember
mean?
this.
What is he called?
Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Yes,
She's destined to take down Sorcerer Supreme.
Right.
So okay, with that in mind, we have Doctor Strange 2 coming out, which is in like a year. Which, by the way, I looked up the original lineup to the Marvel movies and the MCU Phase 4. It turns out that WandaVision was supposed to be like the 4th installment.
Interesting.
And it ended up being the first because of COVID, obviously. But after WandaVision, it was supposed to premiere March 2021. So it actually premiered earlier than it was supposed to. And immediately afterwards, it was supposed to be Doctor Strange 2. It was supposed to be for like May 2021. So we were supposed to get that movie immediately afterwards. And this whole series is a setup to the Doctor Strange 2.
Right.
So you think she's going to be like, I mean, obviously she's in the movie. She's been announced. You think she's going to be the villain, though?
I don't know. I haven't really thought of it that way. I feel like maybe she'll be like the villain without realizing that she's the villain.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is it? Like, a villain is is a hero to someone else. Any good villain is just some hero to everyone else.
So I guess maybe she would be like, she's the villain, but in her own mind, she's the hero.
Yeah, well, not even in her own mind. Into some of our minds. I think the best thing they could do for Phase 4 is pit almost them against each other and then have one side be like, well, this person, like Scarlet Witch is, I mean, God, she lost her brother and her husband and now her 2 children.
Yeah.
Which I was talking to my brother about it, and he was like, so do the children exist or do they not exist? And it's like a sort of yes and no answer.
Right.
Technically, they were living, breathing creatures.
Yeah.
But like in their own world. See, that's what just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Because she created that whole world and she created them, and so obviously when she destroyed that world or just got rid of it, I guess they disappeared.
So she's faced with an ultimatum at the very end, the Scarlet Witch, which is she can continue to exist in this world, say, torturing by every other citizen in it, or set them free, but at the same time, she has to get rid of Vision and her 2 children, and which obviously she chooses the latter. But okay, do you think she got off easy though too? Because everyone seemingly was just like, it's okay. It's okay you tortured all these people.
I mean, yes, like she did, but at the same time, she kind of just vanished, I guess. Like they couldn't really stop her.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do anyways?
Yeah.
She literally like can just, I don't know.
Like she could have, like, yeah, if anybody tried to stop her, she could have just be like,
Was Scarlet
no.
Witch your favorite though?
Like the show?
Well, I'm just saying like in general, like any Avengers sort of, because like I always felt like she was okay. That's why I kind of, for starting off, I was like, this is I don't really care about this show.
Yeah.
Were you in the same boat, or were you like,
yeah,
hell yeah?
No, I wasn't like, I mean, I was excited for the show just because like I'm excited just for all the shows in general, but like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, Scarlet Witch. Like,
yeah, I know. Was
like
anybody...
I'm more excited about like Falcon Winter Soldier by far.
Yes. Oh, we're gonna talk about that too. So I think, I was in the same boat where I was like, yeah, this is just okay. I mean, I like Scarlet Witch, but I felt like the MCU didn't really do anything with them until now. Now I feel like she's an actual like person, as opposed to in like the whole thing with an Endgame where they're like telling they like you love each other and stuff. I was like, who are you? You were literally in one movie before this, and who gives a fuck? But now I'm like, okay, that makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked to see where they take that, and where they go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, well, we'll talk about Evan Peters, Quicksilver.
Oh yeah.
What did you think about that? Because his whole thing, he comes in like halfway in the show.
Uh-huh.
And so then we're giving up a lot of build up to what it is. I mean,
It's very interesting that they chose Evan Peters
yes.
to show up as her brother.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
obviously Evan Peters is Quicksilver in the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
And then she, like, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are brother and sister, but that's not a thing in the X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only a brief thing in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And, like, because he just dies at the very end.
I
He
know.
he literally was alive for, like, an hour. And we were like, oh.
I know, dude. That's what upset me the most is that, like, he was only there for just a brief moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
So the X-Men universe in the MCU exists in two separate entities.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're both Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
They're both in their own universes. So they brought in the X-Men Evan Peters Quicksilver to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole internet was just like, oh my God, this is how they bring in the X-Men. Because now Disney owns the X-Men.
Right.
So everyone was like, holy shit, this is how they bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always upset that Quicksilver in the MCU version just dies, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I never understood that. I think it might have been a legality thing between, like, they were like, you can use Quicksilver, but he only for one movie. So they're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll just have him in there and then get him out.
Yeah. I didn't think about it that way. That could be definitely the case. Or maybe...
Because I think, what were you going to say?
Maybe Marvel's just that clever and thinks that far ahead that they knew this moment could happen.
I don't think so. I think they're good at, like...
Projecting, like...
I think now they're getting better at it, but I think they just kind of lucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I really think they had a few good movies. They had a few bad movies too.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 and like Thor 2 are pretty awful to watch. But then you have great movies like Captain America 2 or like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Shit that's just like, holy fuck. They exist in the same universe. I think that's the beauty of the MCU is that you can have movies that are just totally, far on the left and then far on the right, and then they kind of just come together for this whole big Avengers meetup.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like Evan Peters goes, were you upset that he wasn't the actual? Because it ends up, spoiler alert for anyone watching, that it's not actually the X-Men. He comes in and he's like, hey, I'm your brother, Pedro, what's up?
Right.
And then it's revealed later on that it's Agatha who's been like playing the strings of everything because she's a witch too. And then it's like, yeah, it's not actually Quicksilver.
Yeah, it's just some rando.
It's a guy named Ralph Boner. Which honestly, I think that's my favorite part of the whole fucking show is the reveal that his name is Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
Because
of course, and Peter's just like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, Boner. And to me, I like that the most because I felt as if it was almost like a hey, fuck you to the fanboys. Because people who were like, oh my God, this means that the X-Men are finally coming over or whatever. And they were just like, nah, this is basically just puts a nail in that fucking coffin, just being like, we're going to do our own thing here.
Yeah.
But did you want to see, because a part of me wanted to see it, did you want to see the X-Men cross over with the MCU, or did you just like...
I mean, I definitely think it would be really cool, but I do like that they are like their own things. Like I like that the Avengers and all of that it's one whole thing, and then at the same time there's the X-Men and they got their whole universe and they're two completely separate things.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, it would be really interesting to see, I guess, like all the, maybe not like the X-Men movies that just came out like remade, but just like a new one.
Updated.
Just to see what
because how do you replace
happen.
Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? That's what I don't
Right.
know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because that guy is like, I mean, that's his role, really. Or even Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know.
I don't know. Unless,
those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Well, unless they could do something like all, what's the last one? I guess Logan is like,
Yeah.
mechanically like the last one, but So maybe they could do something like it's like the new age X-Men. Not like new age, but like the young X-Men. So it's like Quicksilver, and
Yeah.
they could have anybody play like Cyclops.
I think they'll just, well, I hope they bring Cyclops. But I hope they bring in I guess just unknown X-Men. People we haven't really seen before. People that are just like, I don't know, not the same old, same old. I hope they bring in Gambit, honestly.
Yeah.
Because Gambit was never really used in the X-Men, like the actual X-Men franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anyone that you want to see?
Gosh, I don't know. I love Cyclops. Like, I love the whole, like...
Is that your favorite?
Yeah, I definitely say it's my favorite. I like in, like, the OG X-Men movies, how there's, like, this whole, like, love triangle of, like, Jean Grey, Wolverine, Cyclops.
Because I started watching the animated series, the X-Men.
Huh. Is it good?
Yeah, it's like the 90s one. It's really nostalgic. It's more true. I think it's more true to the comics than the actual movies are.
It came out in the 90s?
Yeah. It has that really catchy theme song that I just enjoy a lot. But I like the idea that Logan and Cyclops go back and forth, kind of like in their own, because the X-Men are almost like their own Avengers. Which brings up the other thing of like, do you think they're going to end up just fighting each other? Because they will eventually bring the X-Men in.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the whole thing, I guess, with the whole like struggle in all the X-Men movies is that they're mutants, and like that is like they have like their own issues, and like things are like all these enemies are coming out, but at the same time they have this whole like hanging, we are mutants and nobody likes us. Not like nobody likes us, but like the governments want to like cull us because we are mutants. So I feel like because in the MCU, like there's like that's not a thing. It would be hard to kind of be like, oh, here's all the X-Men, and we've never ever mentioned the fact that like mutants exist. Like we have gods and or demigods, and we have Scarlet Witch is just like a witch.
Well, I don't think they could even say mutants. I think that's why. I think they couldn't legally say it. Like in the new, you saw Far From Home, right? They use the term his tingle, Spider-Man's tingle, because they can't. I don't think they can legally say spider sense.
Oh.
So they have to like make up new phrases for it.
Yeah.
But I think the underlining thing about X-Men, in case you don't know, it's race. That's what the whole thing is. It's supposed to be about minorities, really. They based Xavier off of Martin Luther King, and they based fucking Magneto off Malcolm X. Which makes total sense.
That does make total sense, yeah.
Because they both want the same thing. It's just one wants peace, and one is like,
we should fight.
You need action to make change.
Yeah.
So I think, going forward, with everything happening now, I think the X-Men are more prevalent than ever.
That's true.
And I think that's why Falcon and Winter Soldier, this was supposed to be the Disney Plus series that took off, was Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was supposed to come out fall 2020.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the second lead-in. So I think this is the one that people, like, they're going to hype this shit up. Like, WandaVision was just like, it felt like they were just like, okay, here's the first 2 episodes. Okay, go watch them. Okay, we don't care.
Yeah.
Fuck it, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was good. It was just like, I don't know. I feel like this one, though, this is probably, I'm hoping it's going to be the best one.
I hope so, too.
When in Winter Soldier, your favorite or some shit?
I just love like Steve and Bucky's relationship. They're best friends. They're besties.
Big crush on Winter Soldier, bro. No, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is gonna be like top fucking tier.
Oh yeah.
But we've already seen the first episode. Only the first episode. It's 6 episodes long. It's a 6-part series.
It's only gonna be 6?
Only 6 episodes. So a little upsetting. I was hoping for 9 or 10. What'd you think of we've already talked about it, but the first episode was.
It's the first episode. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like it's setting everything up.
Yeah.
It's definitely liked how, it shows their lives, like that they're humans or like normal human beings, I guess.
Yeah.
And I really liked the scene where Falcon is with his sister at the bank, and they're sitting there talking about income and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, well, I don't really have like a job. I just kind of do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
because it's
I like when we went to the bank and they were like, so how do you get paid? Like, who does that?
right.
You don't really get paid. You know, it's a whole thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings up a good question of like, yeah, what the fuck do they do?
Yeah.
I mean, did government just grant them money or what? I mean, does it don't need a thing that really have to answer? I think it was just more just a bit
Yeah.
they were doing, but
Well, I mean, I guess lucky for them, like they had Tony Stark the whole time. That's just like, I'm a multi-billionaire. Take all my stuff.
I guess.
And like
I don't
he
think he
was
did that though. I think it was just yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. Yeah. Because like
He's probably the worst person to have money, right? I mean, he's smart, but it's
who Tony Stark?
yeah. He just
Yeah, 'cause
seemingly
he's
doesn't
just-
have any humanity towards him. He's just more or less like, yeah, fuck you. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
At least in the first one, it seemed
Mhm.
as if he'd had no humanity. He sort of, I think his whole arc is he gains in the very end by saving everybody,
Mhm.
by doing the most like humble thing,
Right.
putting his one life in front of everyone else's.
Right. Right.
But I also, they brought up how half the world is gone and then they just reappear.
Mhm.
Like having to deal with that, I mean, just even as a problem is sort of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like for taking out loans and shit, I don't know. It felt like it put real world problems into perspective in an MCU world.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like it's kind of refreshing almost because anytime you watch like superhero movies or any movie, I guess in general, it's like okay, all this stuff's going on, but it doesn't feel like it's like missing that something. So like sprinkling in these little
Yeah.
things like, yeah, I was vanished for 5 years. Like obviously I don't have any income I can report. I wasn't here kind of thing is a very cool kind of like,
Yeah.
well, what happened? Like, and it does make you
Yeah.
think like,
Well, you want to lose yourself. You want to forget that you're watching a movie. You just
Mhm.
sort of want to lose yourself in the moment of it and
Uh-huh.
stop thinking of it. Because a lot of times, I'll be like if I'm at a concert or if I'm doing anything, like at the movies, I guess I'm just more or less aware of where I am and what I'm doing instead of losing yourself in the moment of it. And when you lose yourself in the moment is when you can experience it for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you find that humane in characters, like you can sort of relate to them. That's what makes it the most. That's why I like Captain America so much. That's why he was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I felt as if when he's faced with sort of problems that are just, that's why I was like, that's me. That's me on TV. I'm Captain America.
Yeah.
No, I wish, bro.
I guess like it's that whole like concept like you're saying of like losing yourself in a show. I definitely noticed that watching the first episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. Like granted it was
Mhm.
a slow episode. They're introducing characters and ideas and plots and everything. But like next thing I knew it ended. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh
how I
my
felt.
God. How long was it? Like 45-ish
It's
minutes?
45 minutes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like it felt like I watched it for 45 minutes, but at the same time I wasn't like, wow, this is long. Versus like WandaVision, I felt like every episode I was like,
Yeah, and those were 20 minutes.
yeah, they were short and then they felt short and I was like, I guess I
Yeah.
felt kind of disappointed after each one
Yeah.
because I was just like, that was it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But
I think that's why they wanted to herald this one as like the one you should watch.
yeah,
Because I don't know. It just felt as one WandaVision. It was weird. Half of them were 20 episodes and the other half were like 45 minutes.
mm-hmm.
And then by the end of it, they explain it to you and you're just, it's like the Matrix. It's like you get explained to what the fuck's going on. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It would
I mean, I
be-
still like it,
yeah.
It
It would be really interesting now, like having this explained to go back and rewatch it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like I've been like thinking about
Yeah.
rewatching it, but I'm like, do I really want to rewatch it?
Do I really care that much?
Yeah.
I just like the ending on WandaVision. The Agatha, it was Agatha all along. That was probably
Mhm.
one of my favorite parts, besides the Ralph Boner part, which is
Yeah.
still the greatest fuck you to the MCU fanboys.
I guess like because Agatha's in the comics, right?
Yes,
I feel like
I don't
Like-
know a lot about the comics, but yes,
well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I'm not too familiar like with the comics. Like I know some stuff, and I've just like Googled and read about stuff that's like people talking about it. So I feel like it was really cool that she was behind it all. But I was like, who is this person? Kind of at the
Yeah.
same time.
I think she's almost like her caretaker.
Yeah.
She just
Or
helps her out.
like her mentor. That's
She like
not
helps
a
her learn her
mentor.
powers or some shit.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of comics too. That's why I've always said, you know, when franchises take it from a book, people are always like, that's not in the novel. That's not how they did it in the novel.
Mm-hmm.
But in comics, you're sort of given free reign because dude. In case you don't know, every year they re-release, they make annuals of comics, and the annuals are basically the story of how this person came to be over and over and over again, and they'll always just change up how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different universes inside the comics, so all these characters can exist in their own sort of facet. Like for Spider-Man, for example, there's Spider-Woman, there's Spider-Girl, there's Miles Morales, there's Silk, there's Spider-Gwen, and they all exist in the Marvel universe, but they're all in their own separate universes. And that's why the MCU, it exists in the Marvel universe. It's just in its own sort of universe.
Mm-hmm.
So it can kind of be in its own thing.
Right.
Until this Phase 4, which is when everything's going to get collided and shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Coming with Spider-Man 3, which comes out in December, I found out.
Oh, very cool.
Which is going to be hype as fuck.
Yeah.
That's the movie. I think there's a lot of things coming out still. Black Widow, Shang-Chi. I think Hawkeye still is coming out for Marvel.
Oh.
The Disney Plus show, which is kind of just like,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm. And there's a Loki show.
Oh, yeah. Which I'm still kind of just like,
I was so excited for that show. Like when all the shows like or titles, I guess, came out, I was like, oh my gosh, the Loki show is going to be amazing. Like Loki's cool. Like I've loved him in every single movie. And then I watched a trailer for it. And I was like,
you just lost interest?
Kind of. I was just like, this is what they decided to do. Have you seen the trailer?
No, I didn't, because I just hate that logo. The Loki logo just pisses me off.
It looks like somebody cut out like shit out of a magazine. It was just like Loki. But it's explaining
some elementary school kid project, whatever.
Yeah.
What is it about though?
But it's explaining what happened at the end of Infinity War or Endgame when he picks up the Tesseract and he disappears. It's like the whole show is what happened after that moment. But he like, I've only seen the trailer like once, but he like goes to this world or something, and they're like a company more or less, and he like works for them. So he's like I can't, no, I know, literally, or he's like, I can't remember if he's like forced to work for them or if he's just like, I'll help. But they're not like a company. It's like a horrible word. It's like they're like a planet, but they like.
He's like a tax accountant. He goes in and he does people's taxes on an alien planet.
Well, I feel like
I can't wait to watch it.
I might be completely butchering this trailer. I've literally only seen it once, like 2 months ago. But it's, I don't know. It's just very weird because it's like he's like, I guess he's like, listening to people, or like he's like essentially taking orders from people, and I'm like, but that's not Loki. Like that's.
Who cares? That's what I want to know. Who cares?
I care.
But I would, no, I would just, when it came to WandaVision though, I was just like, who cares? Mm-hmm. But then I was like, that was pretty good. That was fine.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like the new Scarlet Witch and shit, so. But I almost feel as if that was a good thing for it, not getting overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like hype culture ruins everything. I feel like the internet too and Reddit just ruin everything.
Yeah.
Like the whole Mephisto and Nightmare theories just spoiled it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that does bring me to something else I want to talk about, which is Disney Plus releases shows every single week, as opposed to just binging it all.
Right.
Would you rather have that or just have it to where you binge it all?
No, I do like that it comes out every week because I like, obviously everybody likes the like excitement of like, oh, like tomorrow another episode of Winter Soldier comes out, like yes. Can't wait. But I think it's a smart move for Disney doing that because people don't watch cable anymore, really.
Yeah, fuck cable.
And so I feel like that was the biggest thing about everybody kind of like switching over to streaming is that you can just binge everything, and it's just kind of like, I watched Breaking Bad. It took me a week and a half. Like,
I know.
Where's the fun in that? Like,
I know. That's what I feel.
So it kind of gives it that.
I like it when it's a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I watched, okay, there's an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they try out for the Philadelphia. It's the very early. It's like season 2 or 3. Dee tries out, I think, for the football team or something, for the Philadelphia Eagles or whatever. They have like tryouts or something. And it brings me back to this vivid moment. I remember I was in 8th grade, right after a football game, and I just remember like laying in bed because it used to come on FX, 10 o'clock Thursday nights. I used to watch it every single week, and I just remember like where I was when I watched it, as opposed to I just binge watched season 7 and had it on the TV, and every now and again I look at it. It's like I don't.
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares, you know? I like having it every single week where I'm just like, oh yeah, like you said, I look forward to it. It's coming out tomorrow. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
And then I like watching it because I know everyone else at work has been there all day. And then I'm like, you guys want to know what happened?
But no, yeah. And then it's cool because then like, you know, the weekend happens and like, you know, but Monday, Tuesday, we all get to work and everybody's like,
oh yeah, we all talk about it.
Did you see it? Like,
we don't talk about it until I think at least Saturday. We can't talk about it Friday. I mean,
I feel like we usually talk about it on Sundays.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you didn't have the chance to watch it Friday.
Oh, I'm mad. I get pissed when people are like, oh, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I went home and went to sleep. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh my God.
Watch this show. Because I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier, bro. I'm hyped as fuck for that. And I don't like the Falcon or the Winter Soldier. After this episode, though, I like the Falcon a lot more. A lot more. I felt as if he actually had a personality instead of being some cardboard cutout like he was in the other movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like,
well, I guess like,
I don't care.
I guess like the whole time, like they're kind of like Captain America's sidekicks, more or less. Like I mean, I know Winter Soldier's like his own thing, but he's still like Bucky and his friend, and that's kind of there.
Yeah.
So it's like,
if you had to describe him, you would say, oh, that's Captain America's blah blah blah. That's Captain America's blah blah blah.
Right.
As opposed to being just describe Captain America. You could be like, oh, he's like this ex-soldier who's in World War I and they got frozen, blah blah blah.
Right. And then same thing with Falcon is kind of like he was his like mentor.
Yeah.
And obviously like Falcon is like way more affected by, you know, Steve being gone than Bucky. But
the way the episode starts off is what I like the most.
With the
it plays with what he said in Endgame, which is he's like, this doesn't feel right. And then Steve Rogers is like, it is. It's yours. And he's like, I don't want it. I like that idea. That's what I like the most. The setup to all of it being as if like, oh, I have to be the next big thing. Like I have to take over.
I have to fill his shoes.
Yeah. Like when my father passed away, that's the way I felt. It's like, oh, like all of a sudden now you have to take over. Like you're the man of the household or whatever. But it's one of those things that just like passes on of being like, oh, now there's times where I look around and I'm like, wait, shit, I'm the adult in the room. You know what I mean? Like this shit's on me to do things right. Or when I'm at work or whatever and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of have to be a good example for people. I have to like take that charge. And it just feels as if sometimes I'm like the Falcon, where I'm like, this doesn't feel like me. And it's just like, sometimes there's a quote from Shakespeare. Some people are born great, some people achieve greatness, and some people have greatness thrust upon them. And I always like that because it feels as if a lot of the times greatness is just sort of like, okay, you got to grow up. It's time to fucking do it. And so I felt like as if starting off in this whole series, he's as if, you know, I don't want to be the new Captain America. You know? So it'll be cool to see where they go. Yeah.
Dude, at the end of the show.
Yeah, that pissed me off, bro. That really pissed me off.
I was so mad. I literally was like,
yeah,
what have they done?
I know. But it makes sense. I like it.
Why do you like it?
It's just interesting. I mean, it do be like that, bro. It do be like that. He got screwed over. So, for those of you who haven't seen it, spoiler alert, he donates Captain America's shield, which is given to him by Steve Rogers in the end of Endgame, and then the Falcon, what's his name? Samuel?
Sam, yeah.
Sam. He decides to donate it instead of keep it. So he donates it to a museum. At the end of the episode, it turns out that they just decided America needs a superhero. They need someone to look up to like Captain America. And since Captain America is gone, we're going to make our own. So they introduce an entirely new Captain America. And his face is just the most punchable face I think I've ever fucking seen.
Dude,
He's got this smug look on his face.
He's such a square.
It pisses me off. Because Captain America is my favorite. And I'm like, you can't replace him.
No, yeah. He literally is irreplaceable.
And that's what it sets it up, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't, I mean, he is, like we said, irreplaceable. So it's not like the Falcon could just be like, all right, I'm Captain America now. Fuck you guys. It's like, no, you didn't earn that. You got to earn that title.
Right.
And so them introducing it is almost parallel to being like, see, this is why we can't just have him. Because you just want to punch him in the face, which is exactly what I want to fucking do to that guy.
God, I know.
Apparently he's a famous actor. From Overload or something. Overlord. I've seen that movie once.
Yeah. I really haven't even looked up who he is. I was just like, who is this guy?
Yeah, no, fuck him.
But yeah, that'll be a really cool thing to see kind of unfold, like this idea of like America needs a symbol.
Yeah.
And then I guess what's the other biggest thing in the show is that group.
Yeah, there's a couple things.
I've been calling them the hand group. I can't remember what they're called, but their little symbol's the hand. Dark Brotherhood.
Is that what they're called?
No.
I don't know. The Falcon's buddy that he works with, who's in the army, who I learned in the comics, becomes the next Falcon. So we'll see if that actually happens.
The guy, like from the movies?
No, in the show. The guy who gets fucking body slammed. I forget his name.
Oh, the one that he like goes
knocked
to Syria or wherever, or Libya, and he's helping him fly and catch.
He's like, you're under arrest, and the guy's literally just like picks him up and just throws him on his fucking back.
Dude, but that guy's so strong, and I know that like, Zemo's whole thing was like getting rid of all the Winter Soldiers, but like, what if he left one? What if this guy's an ex-Winter Soldier?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, they still got to introduce him. They haven't brought him in at all.
I know, and if there's only 5 more episodes.
Oh, he's probably gonna he's probably gonna show up real quick, I think.
I hope he comes in the next one. I always liked him as a villain. Just like the concept of like what we were saying earlier, you know, a villain is a hero to some people, or a hero in their own mind, but like this guy literally is like, I just want justice for my family.
Yeah.
And the Avengers don't take accountability for their actions, kind of thing. With
yeah.
His whole like, and it's like very commendable. It's like, okay, you have a very good point, but
he's a hero to some. It's like, okay, well, I definitely can see where you're coming from. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it makes it hard to dislike him.
Yeah.
I hate at the end of
Civil War
when he's sitting on the cliff and he like,
that's
and then all he wants to do is kill himself, and Bucky stops the bullet, and I'm like,
it's not Bucky.
Huh?
It's Black Panther.
Was it Black Panther that stopped the bullet?
Because that's the guy who killed his father.
Oh, you're right.
And he's like,
I'm not gonna. No,
he gets that chance where he's like, I can just kill this guy, and he's like, nah. Vengeance consumed them. It's consumed you. I'm not gonna let it consume me. And he saves him. That's when I was like, holy shit, dude. That's a great movie, Civil War. I think Winter Soldier though, the second Captain America movie, is top tier. I think that's probably the best MCU movie.
Really?
In all, like when I finish watching that, it's a movie where I just forget it's the Marvel Cinematic. Like, it's just a good movie. It's engaging, the stories, and it weaves like characters. Yeah. That was the Russo brothers, and that's why they got to do Endgame and Infinity War.
I do remember that because I remember.
Yeah. Well, in Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember doing both of them, and I'm like, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're like the Nolan brothers of action.
Yeah. And I think they've said they've been asked to come back.
They have been?
Yeah. And Good. They're like, we won't come back unless you do Secret Wars. Which is, so I think it's the Kree are the people who can disguise themselves. They start disguising themselves, I think, as...
The Kree is...
Or not the Kree, that's
it's the green people. I can't remember their name.
Skrull?
Something like that.
I don't know. They said they'd only come back for Secret War, which they plan to do. So
that would be cool. Yeah. I just watched Captain Marvel for the first time the other day.
Really? What'd you think?
It wasn't the worst.
It gets a big meh.
Yeah.
I like Brie Larson a lot, though.
She's just
I
so
like her.
cocky. She's just like, yeah, I'm Captain Marvel and I can do anything. Out of my way, peasants. Like, I don't know.
She got a lot of backlash, and then she sort of just was like, yeah, fuck you. So I'm just going to make this character a big fuck you to everyone.
Yeah. She's the same way in Infinity or in Endgame because she's like, I saved Tony Stark.
No big deal. I saved Tony Stark.
Kill Thanos by myself. And everybody's like,
well, in her defense, Kevin Feige was like, actually, Captain Marvel is the strongest Avenger.
I mean, she's the Superman of Marvel.
Yeah, but it's like, you just introduced her. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like all these characters have had. Literally.
Captain Marvel could take down Thanos any day. So that's what everyone was thinking was, okay, Captain Marvel's going to show up and just defeat Thanos. And that's going to be the end. Which is exactly what happened. In the first 10 minutes, they'd kill Thanos.
Yeah.
Which is what I like the most.
Do you remember watching that and just being like, oh my gosh.
No, I blinked and I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then Thor just like, yeah, fuck this.
Yeah. And then he got all fat.
Yeah, he did
and
get
drank
fat.
a lot of Tropicalia.
Is that what he's drinking?
He's like, when they go to his house, he's got creature comfort cans, but like he can't tell what it is. And when they're at the base, whatever, the Avengers base, and they're going through all the where all the stones are and stuff, he's drinking Tropicalia. And every time I see that, I'm like, nice, Georgia.
Is that Georgia? Is that Athens?
It's in Athens, yeah.
Weird. I didn't know that. I don't drink beer.
Cool. It's a nice little nod to like.
Oh, where they filmed. Oh my god, that makes so much sense now. Holy shit. I'm so glad you pointed that out because now that actually makes a lot of sense. I'm sure they did drink a lot there in Athens.
Probably. They probably.
Because Georgia be popping now for filming.
Mm-hmm. There's a sound stage by my parents' house, and every time I pass it, you know how like when there's like filming going on, like at the locations, they have signs. Yeah. It's like a code word.
Yeah.
It'll be like something filming here, or like it'll have an arrow, and it's like obviously because they don't want people to know what's filming there.
Yeah.
But they'll have so many of those signs out in front of it, and it'll say like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and I literally am like, they've had to do something like.
It happens in Covington all the time
with Marvel. Yeah.
Vampire Diaries. I've never seen it.
It's a pretty good show. For like a vampire TV like cable show. It's okay.
Good. Twilight ruined vampires. Anyways, we're not getting into that.
We digress.
Okay, look, my favorite band's My Chemical Romance, and their first couple albums were about vampires, and it was cool back then. And then vampires got mainstream, and then it just became Anyways,
back to Marvel.
Back to Marvel. All right, we'll wrap it up with Endgame, the biggest hype fucking fest of all time. Do you think they're ever gonna live up to it again? Like a movie? Or Marvel will ever have something like that? We were talking about it at work, and I got to see Endgame when it first came out. And it was one of those things where you get to see it in the theater for the first weekend. And it feels almost like monumental. It's like when I hear about people and they're like, oh, I got to see Empire Strikes Back, or I got to see Jaws in the theater, or I got to see Gone with the Wind, movies. I don't even think Endgame compares to Gone with the Wind, because that's a great fucking movie. But anyways, it's more or less like, it felt as if it's a part of almost history. They get to see it. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, literally sitting in that theater and you're like, I'm experiencing this moment with all these people, and like nothing beat, like, first of all, seeing that movie for the first time, even if I saw it at my house, like by myself, I'm sure I would be like freaking out on the couch by myself, but like being in the room with 200 other people that are screaming and cheering and clapping and crying, like, was so surreal. Yeah, it was great. Dude, when Captain America got the hammer, bro, that's when shit. Dude, people flipped their shit on that. Dude, people were yelling and oh my gosh. But then he doesn't even defeat him either. That's the weird thing. It really doesn't do much. He gets it and it's like cool, but then Thanos still takes him out. I like to think that it's kind of like a one more little, you ever had any doubts about Captain America? Like, he can possess the power of Thor. Like, he's the worthy, most pure human being
not maybe pure is not the right word, but worthy, and he's just
Yeah.
he's just,
Yeah.
I guess.
And honestly, I feel as if they sort of they're like we might never get this chance. I think Kevin Feige has this model this not model but this catchphrase where he's like we might not be able to do this again, so we got to make it as best as possible.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that he was like we might never get this chance to have him possess Thor's hammer, so we're going to fucking do it now. And it
was
paid
pretty
off.
good. Yeah.
It paid off. It was definitely worth
Definitely.
it. But do you think they're ever going to live up to that hype again around Endgame? Or do you think everyone's going to just be like, oh, this isn't as good as Endgame. This isn't anything like that.
Probably not. I think just because not even Marvel, but I don't think any superhero movie could ever live up to something like that. Like what Marvel did over like 15 years
Mm-hmm.
was like such a build up that like if somebody else tried to do it again, it would automatically just be like, oh well, they're doing what Marvel did. Like
Yeah.
I feel like how
Like
you're
the
saying like
Dece-
Empire
like the-
Strikes Back was like that was space and it was new and that's that was that moment, and now we can never have like
Yeah.
another movie like that.
Because every time fucking a new Star Wars movie comes out, it's just always compared to the old ones, which is fair.
Yeah.
But I think at some points, and hopefully going forward with the MCU, it's like, all right, you got to kind of let that be in the past now
Right.
and move on, because this shit, like the Falcon's never going to be Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going to be Steve Rogers.
And
And that's fine. That's
Yeah.
great. He shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't compare the two.
Right.
We should just be happy for what it is instead of trying to compare it to what it was.
Right.
That's why hype culture, I think the internet affects that the most. Hype culture to me is just so toxic, Like
Yeah.
Reddit, 4chan, or Twitter is just so fucking toxic with just like
Well, yeah.
either hyping it up too much, creating something that isn't there, or then just being disappointed that because of your expectations of something, it didn't live up to it, that you can't
Mhm.
enjoy it is just ridiculous.
Yeah. And you got people that are like, "Oh, you've never even touched a comic. Like, I've been looking forward to
Yeah.
this since like the 70s and all this kind of stuff."
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like that was another big thing too. Is like, people, like some people know some stuff about the comics. So like, if you try to have any kind of conversation about the movie, you always have
Yeah.
that one person that's like, "Oh, well, in the comics,
Yeah.
I knew this was coming because this happens
Yeah.
and whatever." And it's like, it's okay that, this universe exists and people have only ever seen the movies, and it's still super complex. Like the movies are all still very detailed and complex, and like alone is a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
And so it's not really like fair to be like, oh, I know more.
Yeah. No, I feel that way.
Kinda.
Yeah. I like music a lot. I played guitar for a very long time. So I feel the same way. It was a hard lesson for me to learn to be like your opinions on stuff like music and even movies and comics to go along with it
Mm-hmm.
is that they're not technically wrong, but they're not right. You kind of have to just sort of navigate with being comfortable with saying, even though I listen to a lot of music and I play music,
Mm-hmm.
it still doesn't mean that just because you don't or you haven't done that, then
That
you know any less than I do, or that
Mhm.
your opinion on it is invalid.
Mm-hmm.
Because in all honesty, I think that's what makes it great. That's why a lot of the artists today are so young
Mm-hmm.
and not stuck in their same old ways. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. But
So Phase 4, Spider-Man 3, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, Shang-Chi, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, and then
Doctor
soon
Strange.
Doctor Strange 2, and then soon Fantastic Four. Which one are you most hyped for going forward to the future?
probably
Oh, I forgot Hawkeye too. How could I forget Hawkeye, the greatest show?
I think I would have to say probably either the new Doctor Strange or Spider-Man 3.
Yes, Spider-Man 3. That's my most hype.
Which one is the one that's supposed to have like all the OG, like it's gonna have like Tobey Maguire and
Spider-Man 3.
okay, I didn't know that was gonna be Doctor Strange because it's like multiverse.
It's Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
I don't know, but see, now Spider-Man 3 comes out before the multiverse. Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness comes out next year.
And Spider-Man 3 comes out this year.
Yep, December.
Okay.
Which I love the Spider-Man movies. I think they're top tier. I think I don't like to get in the debate of being like, who's the best Spider-Man? Oh my god,
But yeah, they're all. I think they're all great.
they're all fine.
Yeah, I mean, Tobey Maguire ones are just classic.
Stupid.
Spider-Man 3. But his are really great, and then Andrew Garfield's are good. You know, it's got
Emma Stone.
he's with Gwen,
Yeah,
not MJ, which is a kind of
it's a cool take.
it is a cool take, and
He
it
skateboards.
works.
he
skateboards.
skateboards too.
And then Tom Holland is just.
Tom Holland's very
Great.
likable. He's a very likable guy.
I feel like I
They're all-
remember.
Well, I heard Tobey Maguire's a dick, but what were you saying?
Oh yeah, I definitely feel like he is in real life. But I feel like I remember like somebody saying that, or like having heard Stan Lee say that like Tom Holland was like the epitome of like when he was creating
my
Spider-Man,
God.
like that is him in like movie form. Like Tom Holland is like the
I feel-
embodiment of this like playful. He's just a teenager, doesn't know what the hell he's doing, but he's like, I'm gonna still help because I can.
Yeah, he does seem.
He's very naive, but in a good way, like just a nice like.
That's what I like.
childish
Yeah,
way.
that's what I like about Spider-Man. Is he more or less is like, I want to do the right thing. Oh
Mhm.
fuck, I fucked up everything while doing it.
Yeah, but he doesn't
Um,
have any like bigger agenda. He's just like, yeah, I go to school and sometimes I save people,
Yeah.
and that's just it.
Well, I also just like Zendaya too. Not even
Yeah.
like a sort of attraction thing. I just think she's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like just as a I don't know. I watch Euphoria too, which she's in.
I haven't seen that, but I know what it is.
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
I only watched it. I mean, it's so like over the top. It's like an HBO show about teenage lives. I like Skins a lot.
Okay.
You ever seen Skins?
I have. So
It's kind of like an American version of Skins.
okay.
But Skins is top fucking tier. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. But yeah, Zendaya's in it, and it's pretty good. You know, I got a lot of good music out of it. So at that point, I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man 3. I think Hawkeye's probably going to be the biggest letdown. Next to Black Widow, dude. Like, who the fuck
Yeah.
cares about Black Widow?
Women. I don't
I mean,
know.
that's
I
cool.
feel like it's more or less like we gotta have like a woman. We have like one show or one movie or whatever for like women.
Yeah. And then Florence, what's her face is in it? Pa or something? I don't know how to
Oh,
pronounce that.
from Midsummer.
Yeah.
Midsummer.
Yeah, she's gonna be. I think she's her sister or something. And I think she's gonna play up to be a bigger role maybe in the phase 4
Mhm.
of it all. But it's weird to think of. That was supposed to be the start of phase 4 last year, and it ended up being WandaVision. And honestly, I think WandaVision was a great lead in to phase 4.
Mhm.
But I think going back after seeing Black Widow, which comes out I think in June,
Mhm.
I think we'll look back and be like, okay, that makes sense as to why they wanted to.
To do it in this order.
Because I feel like that one's going to ease you into everything. Because it's with familiar characters and it's going to set up more arcs that everyone can sort of like get to know.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll
Well,
see though.
all right. Well, WandaVision, 1 out of 10, what would you give it? If you hadn't have seen it before, would you suggest that you should watch it? If you've never
Yeah.
seen any Marvel Universe shit ever, should you watch it?
No,
I agree.
No.
No, definitely not.
definitely not. I mean, like you could just the whole time you just be like,
I don't care.
I don't
Well,
care.
that's what
and
I
don't
felt
care
watching it
why
either way.
Vision is. Oh yeah.
You just watch it for Evan Peters, honestly.
I love
Evan Peters is the fucking man, dude.
He is the man.
Tate, American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was sold after that. But 1 out of 10,
I'd give it a 7.
that's pretty high. I think I'd give it a light 7, a strong 6 to go with.
I feel like I give it a 7 because of how well it was made, and
Yeah.
I guess like from like cinematic kind of like the production was like fantastic.
Yeah. Top tier.
Mm-hmm. And
All right.
obviously they pumped on some money into it, so
I think it's paying
glad it paid off.
off.
Well, apparently Marvel just has all this money they can just blow on TV shows. So
Oh, they definitely do. This is just Disney Plus is just a huge investment so they can take down fucking Netflix. I think they will do it. with Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah.
I know we've only seen one episode, but 1 out of 10, what do you give Falcon Winter Soldier?
I don't know.
And we're gonna judge you on your rating.
I mean, I'm gonna give
when
it.
you come back.
I'm gonna give it. That's so hard to say because it's obviously my answers can change.
I want you to predict what's gonna happen, and then if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be pissed off that it didn't happen the way it's supposed to happen.
I think. Oh God.
For episode 1, gets a good 6 out of 10 because nothing else happens. The only part that I really like about that whole episode is that they think Steve Rogers is dead, and they have all these theories as to where he is and what he's doing.
Like the people.
Yeah. He's like, I read online there's a moon base or whatever that he's a part of. I actually like that. I feel like that would happen in real life. That feels like something that would happen in our reality. People being like, oh my God.
What happened to him?
I mean, people think the fucking earth is flat. So.
Yeah, it's round. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I was making it sound like I was a flat earther.
Oh, you're not? All right, anyways. Any last words about Phase 4? Or Marvel, or anything?
Excited for what's coming up. Really, really looking forward to the end of, or like seeing all this. Still really looking forward to Loki.
And Hawkeye.
Watch the trailer because
and
I think.
Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye. I honestly couldn't. I really don't care about Hawkeye.
Please
like
let me
that.
know if anybody out there cares about Hawkeye. Because
I mean, I care. Not as much. Like, if I never saw the Hawkeye show, I think I'd be okay.
Who the fuck cares about Hawkeye? Who the fuck cares about...
He's just such a nice guy. He's just a dad out there.
It's just Jeremy Renner, okay? I'm sorry. I'm going off on Jeremy Renner because he fucking sucks. His awful haircut in Endgame was his idea. I'm just going to end it on that note. All right. Well, Montana, thanks for coming on.
Yes, thanks
been
for
a
having
pleasure.
me.
No
It
problem.
has been a long time coming.
I was like, okay, at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier or at the end of Black Widow, we'll have you back on, which we still can do. But I didn't realize how much shit's coming out this year. So
Yeah.
might have to have you on more than just once or twice to talk about MCU shit and what we think and feel about it.
Yeah.
Well, anything you want to shout out? Anything else you want to say?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye.